Lace up your moon boots and don't forget the freeze-dried ice creams, because we're about to blast off into uncharted territory, and you never know when you'll need a little frozen sweet treat to accompany the overwhelming vastness of outer space. Just like the moon landing, we're getting way off course this episode as we share our current verbal stims in This Is Who I Am Now, Echolalia Edition. Invent a business that's like trading spaces, but for unfinished house tasks in businesses someone should start. Informatively infodump about what happens when non-ADHDers take stimulant medications, and struggle with social rules at the dentist in our alternative segment, Things That Are Embarrassing for No Reason.
They said that we'd grow out of it. Well, the joke's on them, that's just our brains. We're eccentric, loud, and stubborn, and most of our clothing is covered in stains. It's not a deficit of attention, there's just too much to think about. So if executive dysfunction becomes a little too much, if you forgot why you came in this room, or you're hypersensitive to touch, then put on your seamless socks and come join our little flock. Bitches stimming together, we're weirds of a feather. Weirds of a feather. Ah! Caw-caw!
You ready?
I'm ready.
Are you?
Yeah,
You gonna be able to
I got it.
get it together?
Getting it together.
We're together
Forever.
forever.
Now we have a bank account together.
Yeah, we do.
Woo.
Woo, it's official. We're life partners.
With life. Partners for life.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot to cover this episode, so maybe we should just start with a welcome to Weirds of a Feather, an AuDHD-Adjacent podcast. I'm your host, Grace Beret,
And I'm your host, Kristen Stanhope.
and we're in it to win it.
In it to win it.
Thank God you said it so slowly. All right, I have a warm-up question that I have been waiting to ask you, and I'm
Yes.
really excited to ask you.
I'm excited about this.
This may or may not have been a high shower thought,
Yeah?
and
Good.
I feel like it's an important one.
Yeah.
Okay, so the moon landing.
Was it fake? We'll be discussing this for the
Yes.
next 4 hours.
Yes,
All right.
this is the
Everybody
episode.
Sit down.
Get ready.
We're going to review some evidence.
I've got pictures. We're looking at shadows. We're talking about shadows.
We're looking at the straightness of the flag.
Yeah.
It was all made up by the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
We don't know why, but
Because we
it's
were competing with Russia and we wanted to look better than them. It's all farce.
It's
We've
all
never been to the
fake.
moon.
No. What even is the moon?
We haven't even been to space.
Is the moon even real?
Yeah.
Is the real question.
Is that your real
Let's
warm-up?
get into it.
Okay.
No. Yeah, my real question about the
It's
moon
all
landing,
fake.
not is the moon landing real,
Yeah.
is the moon real? Let's go back even
Okay,
further.
even further.
Yes, start with the moon. Is it real?
Up
We don't
next,
know.
We're asking a bunch of flat earthers.
Yeah. Is the moon real? How do you explain planets? No, my real moon landing question is, so we know that Neil Armstrong was the first person on the moon.
Yeah.
Buzz Aldrin was the second.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they have just stepped off together? Why couldn't they have just both been the first man on the
Because
moon?
the hatch was, the door wasn't big enough for both of them.
I think they could have both been down at the bottom of the steps and held hands and said 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3,
and
jump.
Stepped on. Like, I think if that were two women, I think two women would have done it together.
Well, what about the third guy who was left in the, what's his name?
He doesn't even matter.
The third guy who had to wait in the ship to pick him up.
He's the
like
third
a mom
guy.
waiting in the pickup line for school.
Well, someone's got to be the mom waiting in the pickup line. So I'm not talking about
I
him.
think
I'm just talking
that
about
would be the, everybody remembers Buzz and the other guy,
Neil.
Neil.
You remember him well, yeah. Everyone
But the
knows.
third guy who had to wait in the car, basically, no one
Well,
remembers him.
Someone's got to man the shuttle.
Yeah.
I think they could have
I
given
think-
him a credit, but
If it were
right?
two
Like,
women,
it just feels like such a patriarchal thing to have this, like, I'm first, you're
Yeah.
second. Like, how'd they even decide? Why did Neil get to go first? Why not Buzz?
I don't think I would want to go first because they didn't know what the moon was made of. What if it was all cheese?
They did know what it was made
no,
of.
they didn't
Yes,
know what
they
it was made. They
did.
didn't know if it was going to be like they had lots of assumptions, but they
Yeah.
didn't know if it was going to be like all dust or like stable or maybe
I
it
mean,
was
they
like
landed on it, so they
they
knew that
landed
it
on-
was
yeah.
stable enough to walk
But it
on.
was-
I don't think they were scared of what will happen when we step on it.
I think they were.
I don't think they
An
were.
alien could have come out and got him.
I guess. So you think it was more where Buzz was like, oh, you go first, kind of test the waters?
If I was Buzz,
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, buddy,
you go for
you
it.
got this. Yeah,
You're like, you can have the
I'll be
fame.
right behind you. I'll be right behind you. Yeah,
right on your tail.
Yeah.
So you're willing to sacrifice the first person on the moon title,
Yeah,
because you're nervous about aliens and cheese. Is where you stand.
yeah. I think that's pretty reasonable. And
Okay.
I don't think
All
I'm
right.
the only one. You know, I
guess
don't need the
Whole
fame.
question. Yeah. Would you want to be the first or the second? Are you letting someone go first?
Yeah.
Because you're kind of a little nervous
Yeah,
about the
they
outcome.
don't know for sure if that was like a stable thing. What if it was like an
they
incredibly
are scientists. It's not just like two
they
guys.
had a lot of. I feel like I watched like a Nova documentary about this. But it was like quite the event to get to the moon because they didn't know like all the craters, like how big they were, what it was made of, and they didn't know like when would be a good landing spot. And then they were off a little bit, right? When they first tried to land, they didn't like they picked out a perfect spot, and then something happened, and they had to shift a little bit.
Cheese. Cheese probably happened.
They didn't make up the cheese factor. They didn't predict it.
You got to factor in the cheese factor.
So
you're thinking it's more of Buzz took a step back. Because really, my other question is, how do you decide? Because that's a big deal.
Maybe NASA decided like you're going to be number one. They don't want any squabbles on
they
the
flipped
little
a coin in the ship, and it took like 3 days.
3
to
days
land.
to come down. They're like, no, it's going to get there. Don't worry.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah.
Wait. I think if it were two women, I think they would have held hands and said 1, 2, 3, go.
Jump.
Yeah.
Well, what if something happened to the first one? You need the guy. Like you need, I forget.
Backup?
You need a backup, yeah.
You got the guy driving the spaceship.
Well,
they both die.
They die
jump
together, and the guy in the spaceship's like,
sick.
All right,
sick. I'm telling no one that they stepped foot on the moon first.
Right.
I'm just going to pretend they died in the spaceship, and I was the first man on the moon.
He comes
Could have been a good opportunity.
Lands the entire rocket on the moon.
Well, that was really it. I was just wondering, like,
what would you
why?
be? Would you want to be number one or number two?
I'd want to be number one, but I'd prefer if we did it together. Like, I don't need to be number one. I think if we're both number one, that's just as fun.
Yeah, but if you had to choose,
I'd want to be number one.
Like, you've got number one and number two. You want to be number one.
I want to be number one. I'm not going to be a Buzz.
This is why that's such like a Leo thing to do.
I know it is. And that's why I was thinking about this question to begin with. Because I'm like, that's such a big deal.
It is.
To kind of take a step back and be like, you can be the first one.
Neil Armstrong is very much a household name.
Right? And I feel like people weren't talking about Buzz until the last like 10, 15 years, you know?
Yeah. I think they were talking about
I'm sure he
Buzz.
got his dues.
Yeah.
But like not nearly as much as Neil Armstrong.
Very true. Very true.
Right?
I think I'd be okay being Buzz.
Well, I think we make a good pairing then.
Yeah, you are very much the Neil and I'm the Buzz.
Yeah. Oh, Neil and Buzz.
Although I heard Neil was like very humble guy.
That sounds right.
And like went back to farming after or something. Well, sounds like we'll have to do a bagel bite on this.
Are you sure you're not thinking of the kid who played Charlie Bucket in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Because he became a large animal veterinarian after Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That was his only acting job.
I thought Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yep. He retired. He said he didn't really care for it. And
I thought you meant in the show? In the movie, yeah. He was like, you know what? Chocolate's not for me. I'm going to pets.
Yeah. I'm going to become a large animal veterinarian.
Yeah.
That's so Charlie. Cheer up, Charlie. No, the actor left acting forever. But anyways, we're off course.
We are off course.
Just like the moon landing.
Just like the moon
Boom.
landing. Oh, it all comes back around.
All right, so poll questions. You get orbits, gravity. You got to ask people.
Would you be a Neil Armstrong or do you want number two, Buzz?
Yeah.
Would you be a Neil or Buzz?
And do you think they should have held hands and jumped off together to both be number one? Ooh. That's my other question.
Okay.
Like, what would you do? Would you be like, I need to go first?
I feel like
we can do it together.
People in other countries who aren't like in a America-centric country are going to be like, who the F are these people?
You guys should know because
first men on the moon.
Yeah.
Literally men.
USA. One of the only times I feel like proud of our country. Buzz Aldrin. Yeah. And Neil Armstrong. And I think maybe it was gracious of Buzz to let Neil go first, you know? Maybe he was like, you've been with the space program longer, you deserve to go first, you know? Like, I want to think it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
Buzz, get back to us.
If I were Buzz, I'd be like, listen, we still don't like know for sure what's going on out there. I'm gonna have him test the waters and then I'll be right behind him after I know that it's safe.
I think your answer makes our friendship make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know, where we're not in competition with each other.
No.
You'd be like, please take the risk of going first. And I'm like, yeah, please step
But all
back.
for like self-preservation.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Not to let me go first.
Yeah.
It's to see what happens to me.
And you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'll try it out.
All
Fuck
right.
it. I don't care.
And that's why this works.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we're friends.
It works out really well. All right. Well, with that, should we get on into this podcast?
Yeah.
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 All right. We're warm. We've already said welcome. We've said our names. It's time to get into what is normally This Is Who I Am Now, but I've decided to switch it up a little bit to do my current verbal stims
This
instead.
is who I am now. Current stim version.
Ooh, all
Yeah.
right. So we
Yeah.
should still do our song then, I feel like.
Yes.
Just regular.
Yeah. Because I love the song.
I do too. It's a
Yeah,
nice
it's a
one. I like
great
the
song.
round. I like seeing how long we can go. It's
Mhm.
always fun. All right.
All right.
This time it's different. Everything has changed.
This is who I am now.
This is who I am now. Wow, 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 wow. Is that a fun sound
That was
effect?
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
like
really
that?
liked that at the end. That
Yeah.
was nice. Yeah, that was lovely.
Thought I'd spice it up a little for my current verbal stims edition.
Yeah.
All right. So on this week's My Current Verbal Stims, I was kind of inspired by our Gestalt language processing episode.
Yeah, what a great episode.
Yeah. We talked about echolalia among
Yes.
many things. And I just love to talk about our different echolalia stims that we can't stop doing,
Yeah.
no matter how much the people around us hate it. And I wanted to share.
Well, that's their issue.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a them problem. Except yours is driving me crazy. So Kristen,
sounds like a you problem.
it is a me problem.
Yeah.
Kristen, what is your current verbal stim? You like that?
I like that.
Yeah.
Mine is from a like
How are you going to explain this?
it's a TikTok sound from like months ago, maybe even a year ago.
Mm.
And I don't know. It came and it went.
Yep.
And
I never saw it. So.
you never saw it.
No.
It was all over my TikTok, but now it's back in my head again for no apparent reason.
It's driving me crazy.
And it's driving Grace crazy, but it's the I work at the bank TikTok
Sing
sound.
it.
It's like, I work at the bank. Just like that.
And she keeps doing that over and over and
again.
over.
Over and over again. So now it will be in your head
Yep.
too, listeners, and you're welcome. And I love you.
And then for me, that triggers in me
Yeah.
the Robin's song from How I Met Your Mother. Let's go to the mall today. So you singing I work at the bank for some reason triggers in my head. Let's go to the mall. And then I get that stuck in my head.
Echolalia.
Yeah. Just go
Loop. Orbit.
around. Yeah.
Bring it back to the moon.
Moon. Orbit.
Grace.
Yes.
What is your current stim?
That was nice. I
Yeah.
like that.
I had to
That's a
think
fun
about
one.
it for a second.
I've got two of them.
Yeah.
One of them is an Alana Wexler quote from Broad City that Ian and I can't stop doing back and forth.
Do it.
Where I think she's imitating a commercial. So it's us imitating Alana imitating a commercial.
I love it.
And she
It's a echolalia inception.
Inception, yeah. Echoception.
Echoleption.
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 Yep,
Yeah.
echoleption.
Perfect.
Duh.
Got it.
Yeah, rolls off
Not-
the tongue. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But she says, I'm nuts for nuts. And Ian and I literally cannot stop singing it to the
I
point where
love
it's a
it.
problem. Like just over and over.
It feels like a real commercial.
Right?
Like it should be a real commercial.
Yeah, I don't know if it is a real commercial.
Like the
that she's-
Peanuts guy is going to come on, start
Yeah.
singing that or something.
It might be from a real commercial that she's
Yeah.
referencing.
Maybe.
I'm nuts for nuts. And then the other one that we were saying for a long time. So I talked about Quality Shop on here all the
It's
time.
just your local general store,
Yes.
basically. Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's been there since before we were born,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Quality
it's a
Shop.
Solid staple.
Yeah.
But there's one guy who has worked there forever. And every single time he picks up the phone, he says it the exact same way. And the other day I was about to call Quality Shop, and Ian and I kind of like did this imitation of the guy that picks up the phone all the time. And then he picked up the phone and said it exactly the way we imitated it. It was just like perfect. But every time he picks up the phone, he says, Quality Shop. And Ian and I get that stuck in our heads. It's not even a reference. It's just a guy saying Quality Shop.
Quality Shop.
Quality Shop. But every single time he picks up the phone, he says it the exact same way.
I love it.
It's melodic. It's predictable. I love it. It's a
I
fun
love
one.
it.
Try it out. Quality Shop. So yeah, that's just a couple of our phrases that we can't stop saying and everyone hates it, but good thing it's just
Everybody
the two
but
of
us.
Yeah. We drive ourselves and each other crazy.
Yeah.
And that's always fun.
And now you, the listeners,
Yes. Have fun with those stuck in your head.
you're welcome.
Hey, at least it's not, it's a po-po.
Yeah.
Which that one still comes and goes.
Or the Cinemagic.
No.
You'll love Cinemagic. For the
Movies
best
and
seats in town.
You'll love Cinemagic.
Ba, 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 ba.
And I like to make a version of that goes, for the best shit around. You'll love Cinemagic.
Love
And then I like doing different variations of that. And it really just, becomes its own beast.
I love it.
Big yawn.
I know.
Sleepy guy.
Goodness. The amount of caffeine I have had.
You were zipping around
I was
earlier.
zipping around, and then I get into our nice, cozy little pod lock.
I know.
You know what? We've made it too cozy.
I know. That's the problem.
I
Too
think
cozy.
that's what's happened. It's too cozy, and I just want to just snuggle and fall asleep to Forensic Files.
We
or
need
something.
cooler lighting. We need harder chairs.
Mhm. Yeah, I know. I think we've gone from those like really uncomfortable chairs to this nice, cushy pleather couch.
Yeah. Nothing
And
comfier than a pleather couch. Yeah. Great for recording. Nice and quiet.
Yeah, nice and quiet.
Squeak free.
Mm-hmm.
Luxurious.
Yeah, I think that's our issue.
That's why I think maybe we should try standing up when we record,
We'll
holding
get
it.
standing desks.
Yeah. Like we're doing
Ooh.
like weekend update.
Stand-up comedy.
Yes. / weekend update of like dueling stand-up comedians. Nice one.
Dueling stand-up. Or like, what was that show on MTV where they were like rap battling?
Ridiculousness? No.
They were rap battling each other. Was it just called Rap Battles?
No.
And
It
we
wasn't.
can be like,
Oh, and Valderrama was in it.
yeah.
Yeah. That pervert.
Um,
What was that called? This is going to drive me crazy. Cue the music.
Wild and Out.
Wild and Out,
Nick
right? Nick
Cannon was on
Cannon.
it.
Friggin' Nick
Soldier Boy was on
Oh,
Yeah,
crank that Soldier
um,
Boy.
it. Anyway,
Thank God we
good thing
took
we
the
got
time
that.
to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah,
I'm glad we stopped exactly what we were doing to.
really
It
important
was
stuff.
gonna bother me though. 'Cause
Yeah, same.
Wild and Out.
Yeah,
Is
just
that,
like
that
Wild
show's
Out.
still not on, right?
I think it is.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
MTV's. I just forget about cable sometimes. That's a thing.
I know it's still some people
Till I
are
go
just
to
like
my parents'
watching
house.
cable.
Yeah, my parents.
Good for them. Someone's got to.
Well, I think they're trying to get rid of it, but
No,
It's a
stand
process.
strong.
I mean, I feel like all these, you're going to get all these like Netflix and Amazon, they all have commercials now, right?
Yeah,
You have to pay extra for out commercials, and then they're going to get like live programming and sports is basically going to come back around and become cable again.
technology is cyclical, as Dennis says on 30 Rock. He's talking about beepers. He's the beeper king.
The beeper king.
Yeah, technology is
I
cyclical.
have a beeper.
Well, you work in a hospital,
Yeah,
so that
I
makes
actually
sense.
think I need to change the battery in my beeper. I don't get beeped often.
I'd like to bring back the beeper. I think it's a fun concept.
The beeper means you have to like call people back though.
Yeah, that's true.
So
and I
you
just
get
ignore
beeped.
my beeper.
And then you have to it's so much easier to send a text message. Like, why?
True. Because I don't know, it's just like a fun concept. But I guess if you didn't have your cell phone and you just had a beeper, like the whole thing with the beeper is you could find a payphone
Yeah.
to call someone.
But there are no payphones
yeah.
anymore.
So I'd be like, can I borrow your cell phone? My beeper. gonna
Someone's
beep.
beeped me and
Yeah.
I needed to borrow a cell phone.
I'm
because
here
I
from
have this-
1994.
Yeah.
I somehow know what a cell phone is. Can I use your car phone?
Yeah.
All right.
Are you calling long distance?
Yeah.
Mm.
Should we wiggle on into our next segment?
Yes.
Which is going to be Business
Yes.
is Someone Should Start, Just Not Us.
Yes, with our lovely music
Yes.
by Jane.
Jane Olsen. Check her out on SoundCloud.
Mhm.
All right, let's
Ready?
do it. We do 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we just go like,
Business. Yeah.
okay.
Business, 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 business. What even is
I love it.
this
I love it.
podcast?
No, it's perfect. It's what a jingle.
People love it.
They
They're
love it.
here for our songs.
We are here for them as
Yep.
well.
All right. On this week's Business is Someone Should Start, Just Not Us, I came up with, I feel like every business I come up with has to do with like organizing the house. It just shows where I am mentally, you know?
Yeah. But
But-
they're all valid, I think.
Thank you. So this is kind of like wife swap / like house swap. Wasn't there a house swapping show where like one family would decorate one person's house and they would like switch?
Isn't that Trading Spaces?
Yes, Trading Spaces.
And it always ended terribly.
Yes. So
They're
this is like
oh,
Trading
you
Spaces.
mentioned you like soccer. We've made your whole bedroom into a soccer
Yeah, you're
field.
sleeping in a soccer net now.
I hope you
you went to the beach one time? Sand. Bedroom's full of sand.
Full of sand. Good luck vacuuming. Your cat's peed in here twice.
Yeah. Good luck finding it.
Yeah.
I think this concept would work a lot better than Trading Spaces.
Okay.
So it's essentially a house swap or Trading Spaces, but for house tasks.
Ooh.
Where either two couples or people swap houses for either like a weekend or a week and they bang out each other's to-do lists, or it's like one couple comes to the house and they help you and your partner do your house task, and then you guys switch and you and your partner go over to their house and help them bang out a bunch of tasks.
I love this. Right? Can we do this?
Yes, because Kylie and I were talking about doing it. Because, you like, it's so much easier to do someone else's chores than your own.
And you have that like accountability because someone else is there.
Right? You got body doubling.
Mm-hmm.
Got someone holding you accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
I love this.
Kylie and I were talking about she could come over and help me organize my porch and I could go over and help her paint. And I was like, that should be a business.
I love this.
Right?
You can like, it'll be almost like Tinder, and you can like find couples in your area needing tasks.
And they could say like the tasks that they're good at doing. Because that's the other thing is like I have certain tasks I just am never going to get to because I'm really bad at them.
Yeah.
But I can do a bunch of other tasks. So I could put like strengths, painting, any other strengths I have.
Yeah. You've got
not
plenty of
coming to the
strengths.
top of my head right now.
I think you're good at organizing other people, but not yourself.
Sometimes, I'm good at telling people what to do. I could make them a to-do list.
Rearranging furniture.
Yeah, I'm great at that.
You're very good at that.
Very good at
I
that.
think you're good at design.
Can't visualize.
I think
I'm good at bringing little trinkets into the house. I
Yeah,
could set them up with
you-
little
trinkets.
I could hang pictures.
There you go. Crafts.
I could
You
fold
could finish
laundry.
other people's crafts.
Yeah. And that kind of ties into I think I had another business where you
Craft
finish the
finish
last
task.
like 10%.
Tacklers, but also craft tacklers.
Yes.
There you
craft
go.
paralysis tacklers.
Craft paralysis.
Craft
Yeah.
tacklers.
Yeah.
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 Just rolls off the
Yes,
tongue.
we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you're right. It could be like an app where you match up with people and then I could say, my weaknesses, and then it could be like, oh, I'm really good at those things you struggle with. Let's trade spaces. But yeah, I think you'd want to be here. I don't think I just want to let a random couple into my house. They don't know how I want it done.
Yeah. And
You know?
maybe you could even like meet beforehand, just make sure that they're like not a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause we're not just going to let
Random peeps.
Random peeps. So we'd have to have some kind of screening process.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I got something here.
I love this idea.
Right? Because you got body
Maybe
doubling.
you could have like a matchmaker.
Yeah.
Oh, be like
Make me a
millionaire
match.
matchmaker, except it's like
ADHD.
taskmaster matchmaker,
Yeah.
task matchmaker.
Yeah.
And you could have like matchmakers in certain areas, and then you'd have to like be a verified person to go on this app, so it's all safe and you don't have like burglars coming in.
Well, I was thinking another way it could be done if you are just going to switch places and not have like, they come here while we're here and we go there while they're there. You could have like an organizer / designer who's like a member of the team permanently.
Yeah.
They come in, work with each couple to help them figure out like exactly what they want done, help you create a detailed plan. And then
I like just like Trading Spaces.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then when the new couple comes in, they're there to kind of be able to tell them, oh, so this is how they want it done, So we're saving time.
Yes.
You got,
and also you don't want like a random couple coming in and like trashing the place or doing it like the wrong way, or
you need some
what
accountability.
if they're like really bad at painting and you're like, okay,
this is sloppy.
this is not good.
Yeah. So I think you get two organizers / designers who work with each couple. And then when you switch, that couple's designer / organizer can be there to advocate for the couple and tell you how they want it done,
I love it.
I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a great
We should
idea.
get Ty Pennington in here,
Ty Pennington.
Move that
He
bus.
has ADHD.
Yeah, that's right. He does.
Yeah. He like was a.
That show was a real grift.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
That show was wild.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
People ended up having to pay like huge property taxes on these giant mansions that they built and then like lost the homes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
Because the
didn't
whole
know
problem
that.
was like they didn't have the money to redo their house. So they were kind of living in these like shitty places.
Yeah.
So then what was that show?
Oh, that was like home makeover or something.
Yes, extreme home makeover.
Yes.
And they would come in and sometimes make the houses so expensive in property
Yes.
taxes, and like you got a big water bill, electricity bill.
Right.
And there are multiple couples that have like lost their homes because they couldn't
And
afford.
there's a soccer field in the bedroom.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also, on Trading Spaces, they like went out of their way. Like, remember that there was one episode in particular that made me so mad. This lady was like, she's open to any color except for brown. So of course they paint like their whole bedroom brown.
Why?
And you're like,
I don't understand that.
it was all for TV.
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
designer's
the
like,
drama.
she's gonna love it. And obviously she didn't. And she
Yeah.
was really upset by that. Or there was another time, the Haskell girls used to watch this a lot, so I watched this a lot.
That sounds about right.
There was another time where this was such another grift. I don't know if like this winery like paid money to be advertised, but this lady was like, I bought the designer, instead of like wallpapering the kitchen, she's like, let's put
corks.
no, worse, wine labels from this specific wine that no one knows anything about.
That the couple just had no affiliation with?
Yep. All
What?
over the walls as like a pattern.
What?
And it looked so bad.
I bet.
And then the whole time the couple doing, and they had to like lay out each individual sticker.
Oh
It
my
took forever. They had to
God.
make sure it was all lined up. It looked terrible. And the couple kept telling the designer, like, they're not going to like this.
Yeah.
We don't like doing this. We don't feel comfortable doing this. Like, this
Stop
is
making
really
us do
bad.
this.
And she's like, no, it's great. It's going to be great. It's fine. And obviously terrible.
Yeah.
And the couple hated it and
I
like
bet.
cried on television. And the other couple who did it, like that they traded with, like bought them a wallpaper removal thing. And they're like, we're so sorry. And we're going to help like remove all the wine labels.
Oh my
And it's like,
God.
it's not like wallpaper. It's like sticky labels that like don't come off. So they said it took forever.
I would sue
That was
that show.
So horrific, like worse than paint and worse than bad wallpaper.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was over the entire kitchen. It was,
For what reason?
Like, as a designer, how can you live with yourself doing something that ugly? Also, like, no one wants ads in their kitchen.
No, even if they're like
No.
huge winos. Like,
let's say I'm a huge wino and
like build me a nice wine cabinet.
Yes.
That's the thing. They would
Yes.
take like one adjective
Oh my
and then
God,
they
it's
would like
so infuriating.
so on the nose, which was so like early 2000s
Yeah.
aesthetics where it's like, oh, I like farmhouse. Let's put a bunch of roosters around, you know? I like I
We've
want the
literally
vibe.
had cows move into your kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want the vibe of a coffee shop. So let's do wallpaper that says like coffee all over
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It's like subtlety.
It's like your mom and her fork cabinets.
Yes, yes.
This is a kitchen, so I'm gonna have my cabinet handles be forks.
yes. Too on the nose.
It's too much.
Yes. And Trading Spaces was just like next
Ugh,
level.
It bothered me so much because they went out of their way to make I think the designers by the end of it went out of their way to make, I think it must have gotten more views if the couple didn't like the
That
show.
makes
you
sense.
know? Like, and so
We're
they
talking about it, I guess.
I just
20 years later.
I can't. It made me so angry to watch that show because I'm like, this is awful.
Yeah.
And no one wants this. No one wants a beach in their bedroom.
No, and then you're on TV, so then when you see it, you have to like act like you like it, or you have to be brave enough to be like, this isn't what I asked for.
I think the lady with the brown bedroom also broke in. It was the one color she didn't want. She literally asked for one thing.
What is wrong with
how
those
about
people?
not brown?
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like, here's a taupe or here's like a hint of brown or we
Yeah.
have brown elements. It's all brown, like a deep chocolate brown that doesn't even
Ugh.
look good.
No.
Brown's fine, but if you really don't like brown, you're not going to want brown.
Yes.
Just
I think it's
it's almost
ugly.
like you should say what you shouldn't say what you don't like on that
Yes.
show because they'll take it.
You're like,
and
what? Brown?
brown?
Okay.
We're going to make her like brown.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't like it. So I guess what we're learning here is the most important aspect of our business is to really vet the designers and organizers. We're
Yes.
not going to have them make the same mistakes.
Yes.
You know, they're going to keep things true to the way you want them,
Mhm.
except maybe there'll be one fun little silly prank in there,
Yeah.
you know, because like, come on, we got to
Yeah.
keep the audience entertained.
Very true.
The audience just being,
Like that time you left a weird doll in my closet.
yeah, when you were moving into the
Yeah.
apartment building.
That's a cute little harmless prank.
Right? That
Harmless
was
pranks are
silly.
cute. Yeah,
You opened the closet.
I was like, oh, how cute.
And there was like a funny little figurine in there.
It was lovely.
And that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people don't know what we're talking about, I actually, in Boston, I moved into Grace's old bedroom into her old apartment after she moved out.
Yes.
Because I'm just following her around the country.
Yeah.
And as a cute little gift, she left me like a weird porcelain figure in the closet.
Yeah, it was like a little boy with an umbrella or something.
I don't even know. Where do you find something like that?
I don't know. I think I found it at like a thrift store a while ago. And I was like, I'm going to keep this for something weird.
Yeah.
And then as I was moving out, I found it. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to leave this in the closet for Christmas because it's weird.
Like open it. I'm like, oh, Grace. My dad's like, what the shit?
Gotcha. See, that's a very innocent, silly little prank.
Yeah. But these HGTV people are just like beyond help.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's not the kind of quality we're going to hire for our business.
I also notice on a lot of these like home renovation shows, people are like, I want my kitchen redone. And they get in there and they're like Love It or List It. Have you ever seen that one?
Have.
Which is, for listeners who don't know, it's basically a couple who's like, one half of the couple is like, I want to sell this home and get out of here. And the other one is like, no, I just want to renovate so we can keep our home and make it work for us. So they work with a realtor to find a home that would fit their needs. And they also work with a designer who's going to renovate their home to make it workable. But a lot of these homes, I feel so bad for the designer because they get into this home and it's like, yo, I know you wanted a new kitchen with bigger cabinets, but you have a crack in the foundation and your roof is leaking and you have like knob and tube wiring that needs to be updated from the 1800s. So your whole renovation budget is going to be to like update your home instead of giving you like the necessary updates so you can actually like physically sell it on the market. And they're like, Heidi, I think her name's Heidi, is like such a bitch and she's not listening to us. I'm like, Heidi is trying to help you. Like, she has the hardest job of all.
That is the hardest job.
And then the realtor's just like, here's a house that fits your needs.
What do you think?
And
yeah, that's bullshit.
It's such bullshit.
It's like,
I
what's
can't
his
watch
face? Bobby on Queer Eye, where he does a whole friggin' home makeover. Meanwhile, Anthony's like, I cut an avocado. You know? It's like, Bobby, well, I guess he's gone now. But
I've never seen Queer Eye.
Oh, you haven't?
I know the premises.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
And they help a man.
Yes, they help a man become
like
less hetero.
Sad.
Yes.
And like
dumpy.
Yeah. They find a dumpy man who's like a big man child and they help him be like,
here's how to brush your hair.
Here's how to brush your hair. Here's how to take care of yourself.
Here's how to clip your toenails.
Yeah. Don't be so gross.
Yeah. Here's how to make an egg.
Yeah.
But
you can't have your mattress on the floor.
Yeah.
Let's get a bed frame.
Let's buy some new socks for you.
Let's get curtains.
Yeah. But everyone else has like Jonathan does the hair. Anthony teaches them how to make a couple little meals. One helps with fashion. And then meanwhile, Bobby is like, I remade your entire home. I redesigned the living room and now you have a brand new bedroom. And they're like, yay. Like they just feel like he doesn't get enough credit. He does like 90% of the work.
You can't bring a girl back if your place looks like a dump.
Yeah. He's got a lot of work. Exactly. But then, yay, Jonathan cut his hair. So they're all important. All right. Well, on that note, should we move into our informative info dumps?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, no. We got to do our stupid song.
Oh, no. What do you mean, oh, no?
I mean, oh,
yay. You love this song.
I love the song.
You keep telling everybody how cool this song is and how excited you are about it. Yeah.
Am I?
Yeah, you're like super pumped about it. Also, I do most of the song.
You're right.
Supposed to be my backup. You're supposed to hype me up,
You're right,
man.
you're right. All right, yes. Yeah. We got this cool
Can't be like, oh,
song.
no, the song that I don't have to sing.
You're right. You're
right. So we can do a good job, okay?
Right.
Your one job is to hype.
All right.
Okay?
You're right. Gotcha.
Okay.
I'll hype you. Okay.
None of this oh no business.
Oh yay.
Okay.
We get to show off our musical talents.
Yes.
And I'm excited to be your hype woman.
You're welcome.
Thank you
for this opportunity.
Thank you. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I hope I do well.
You're gonna do great.
I think I'll do okay.
With that attitude, there's no way you can fail.
Right?
Right.
I'm through the moon with excitement. All right, let's do it.
This is our info. These are our dumps. Put on your headphones, sit on your rumps. Learn about facts we really don't need. It's a hyperfocus as you can see.
Yeah.
See? Lovely, right?
Yeah.
Went well.
Yeah, it went well.
Get your bad attitude out of here.
Right.
Get your bad attitude out of here.
Okay.
All right?
You're right. It's a great song.
None of that. You're welcome
We're
for doing that
musical
together. I guess
visions.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
What's your dump?
All right. I'm going to dump on you guys.
Dump on me.
Oh, all right. I am talking about non-ADHDers taking stimulant medication. I don't have a ton to say about this, but I just found one study on it that I thought was pretty interesting.
Cool.
Because, that's a big problem in the ADHD community where people always want to take stimulants for like study drugs, and they consider it kind of like
almost like a party drug.
Yeah.
Who's taking it at a party?
People who have enough dopamine levels already, and then it gives them more dopamine, and they're like, this is fun. Not like, I should go study at the library, or I should organize my underwear drawer,
Unreal.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a big problem, as I'm sure many people know, that stimulants are taken really casually, and people act like, yeah, it's a study drug or it's a party drug, and it makes it much harder for ADHDers to get necessary medication that they need that we're not taking because it's fun. We're taking because we don't have high enough dopamine levels, and we need it in order to function. Like, I need it to empty the dishwasher.
I need it.
So, it's easy to say non-ADHDers shouldn't be abusing this medication. You should only take it if you really need it. But now there are some studies out that show that actually it's harming their study habits. Shit. So it's not just like, you shouldn't take it because you're not prescribed it. It's like, no, this is actually making you less efficient with your work. And it really is like genuinely not helping non-ADHDers study.
Shit.
So I thought it was really interesting. So I want to talk about it. So I'm using an article called If You Don't Have ADHD, Ritalin and Similar Drugs May Hurt Your Concentration by Sean Radcliffe.
Ooh.
So it says...
related to Daniel?
Yes, Daniel's uncle. He's a big ADHD researcher. It says a new study finds that for people without ADHD, cognitive enhancers may actually inhibit performance and productivity. So the actual study, so I'm referencing an article, and the article is referencing the study. That's much more scientific than I was willing to get into.
That's fair.
Because the article does a good job of putting it into human language, and so I'm going to reference the article. But the actual study that they're using in this article is titled Not So Smart, quote unquote, smart drugs increase the level but decrease the quality of cognitive effort by Elizabeth Bowman, David Coghill, Karsten Morosky, and Peter Bossarts. We got it.
Peds.
Yeah, Peds. Yeah. Also, someone who made a comment on our Facebook, in our Facebook group, said, for the love of horse trains, which I really enjoyed. And she said she almost made it for the love of meat candles. She couldn't decide which one to use. So I love both of those terms, and I will be taking them.
That's really funny.
For the love of horse trains. So it says in the study, which was published June 14th of 2024 in the Journal of Scientific Advances, researchers tested the effects of 3 popular smart drugs, quote unquote, aka stimulants, which was the methylphenidate. That's Adderall, I believe. Methylphenidate, Kristen? Yes, it is. Modafinil. I don't know what that is.
I don't know. I was going to look that one up. What the frig is that?
Cue the music.
Ritalin is methylphenidate.
Okay.
And then the dextroamphetamine is Adderall. But what is this?
What's modafinil? Daffodil?
Provigil.
What the fuck is that?
It's for like more narcolepsy than anything.
Oh, that's a smart drug? Keeps you awake?
I think it keeps you awake. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
So really Ritalin and Adderall.
And
And then whatever the fuck that is. So they tested the effects of those 3 different popular stimulants and compared to an inactive placebo. So just compared it to something.
A sugar pill.
Yeah, that would do nothing. So the study is small, so it's not like, I wouldn't say this is like totally conclusive, but I think they're probably going to do more and more studies like this.
Yeah.
So this isn't like, wow, we've 100% unlocked this information. This is
Yeah.
definitely.
Only 40 people, that's like nothing.
Yeah.
You can't make, it's a good stepping off point.
Yes.
And hopefully, yeah, you're right. There hopefully more studies will come that are bigger and better, but you can't say that 40 people and I'm sure they're all from like one specific area, like wherever this was published.
Yeah, so this isn't like a definitive, we've done all the research and now we know for sure.
Right.
But I just thought it was interesting that like in this, it seems like this is one of the first studies where they've looked at non-ADHDers taking stimulants and seeing like,
it is a problem.
yeah, like does it actually give them a boost, or is it like cocaine kind of where you feel like you're more productive, but you're not getting much done, kind of spinning your wheels out, inventing a bunch of different businesses you'll never do, which we just do naturally. No cocaine needed.
No cocaine needed in this brain.
Yep. Natural cocaine. So
in the worst way.
Yep. So the study involved 40 healthy participants between 18 and 35 years old without a diagnosis of ADHD, and participants were randomly assigned to receive one of the drugs or a placebo before 4 separate experiments, which were done at least 1 week apart. And the tests were designed to model the decision-making and problem-solving that people do during their daily lives, which we know ADHDers have a really hard time with specifically because those are executive functions of like organizing and problem solving. So the tasks were intended to be more complex and relevant to real life than tests used in earlier studies, said the researchers. So that's interesting, where it seems like they have done tests kind of like this before, but they were probably having them do more like focus and concentration work. So it's interesting that they're having them do executive functioning tasks. It feels like research is kind of catching up to the fact that ADHD is primarily an executive dysfunction disorder. So I think in the past, they've done tests that were more like a stereotypical idea of ADHD is when you can't concentrate on the paper you're writing, you know?
Right.
As opposed to like decision-making and problem solving. Those are much more executive functioning based tasks. And they were looking at how stimulants help or I guess hurt in those situations. So in one of these tests known as the knapsack task, say that, knapsack task. Knapsack task. Also, who the fuck says knapsack anymore? What is it?
Given
a bindle?
A virtual, a bindle, knapsack task.
Knapsack, backpack task.
Why don't you just call it a backpack?
Who calls it a knapsack?
This sounds like a poll question.
We're getting stuck on the wrong details. Yeah.
Backpack, bindle.
What's your primary form of carrying
things?
Yeah. You like a bindle? Then you got to do the whole untie thing. You got to carry it over
like
one
every
shoulder.
Time
you got to find a good stick.
Yeah, they don't have like side pockets on a bindle.
Yeah.
It's just like one. Yeah. What if you're not in like a stick area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find a broomstick, I guess, a pole. But that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So in this knapsack task, stupid, participants were given a virtual backpack with a certain capacity and a selection of items with different weights and values. The goal of the task was to place the items in the backpack in a way that maximized the overall value of its contents. So essentially packing a backpack.
Okay.
Which
sure,
I guess is difficult for us.
I mean, yeah.
Not with the power of stimulants. So researchers found that after taking one of the drugs, people spent more time and effort solving the tasks while also being less accurate and efficient compared to when not taking the drugs.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting? So non-ADHDers, it's almost like it gave them ADHD, where they spent a lot longer doing it, but they were way less accurate and efficient than if they had just not taken stimulants.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So once again, it's kind of like the wheels are spinning thing where you're like spinning, but you're actually not getting much done. So I could totally see why non-ADHDers would take it for parties, first of all, where you're like, you feel like you're being so productive. And also I can see why they think it helps them with studying because they kind of have the facade of being busy, but they're not actually getting stuff done, which I feel like is how ADHDers without proper medication act, you know?
Yeah.
Where they're buzzing around, not getting much done, you know? And I relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for example, on the knapsack task, taking one of the drugs did not reduce the chance that participants would find a solution to the problem, but there was a drop in the value that people attained on the task. So they were just not getting as much value out of it. It took them longer and they weren't doing a good job. So they also spent more effort, which was measured as either time spent or the number of moves getting to that solution.
Okay.
So they're probably having to like shift things around a lot, doing a lot of trial
out of the back
error.
in the knapsack, put things in the knapsack.
As opposed to being able to do I wonder if because it affects your prefrontal cortex, like both having ADHD and taking stimulant medications, and this is like a pre-planning task where without stimulants, neurotypicals have much bigger and stronger prefrontal cortexes because that's where your executive functions are. So they, when they're not on the stimulants, would probably be good at this task because they're using that executive function of pre-planning. They don't have to do the trial and error. They can just kind of look at it and figure out what to start with, what to put in when. Whereas when they're on these stimulants, they're all like probably jittery and kind of coked out. And so they're like probably shoving stuff in. They're like, no, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Yeah, taking it out.
Take it all out. We're starting over.
Yeah. So I thought that was very interesting.
Throw in the knapsack.
Yeah. Friggin' knapsacks.
Fuck this.
So the study results also showed that people who perform better on the knapsack task after taking the placebo compared to the rest of the group tended to be below average after taking one of the drugs. So they also looked at, how they did on the placebo, and then they looked at them again when they actually gave them the drugs to make sure that it wasn't, because another aspect of these studies when they talk about studying ADHDers or autistic people versus non-ADHDers and autistics, how many people are undiagnosed, but they have that brain structure, and then they're like messing up, unbeknownst to them, messing up the results of a study, because they think they're studying non-ADHDers, but it's like, okay, lack of diagnosis doesn't mean they're not an ADHDer.
Doesn't prove anything.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they had the people who took the placebo then come back a week later and try this test again with the actual drug, and then they did worse than when they were on the placebo.
Yeah, I think that's good, because I think we talked about in an earlier episode one study that didn't go based off whether the subjects had an ADHD study diagnosis or not, and that was pretty crucial. So I'm glad that they did that too.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. So the researchers said that this was due to people's choices becoming more erratic after taking one of the drugs. In order for people to succeed at the knapsack task, they need to be systematic in their thinking, researchers said, which the drugs interfered with. I am wondering if they did this test with ADHDers to see, make sure the stimulants helped them. I'm guessing
they should repeat the study with people with an ADHD diagnosis and do one day where they don't take their stimulants and one day where they do.
Yeah, and see how efficient they are.
I would be very interested in that, because if they score the same as the neurotypicals, then I don't know what that would mean.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine
they
would
on stimulants than they do. Yeah,
I'm guessing they've looked into that before, considering that they've prescribed stimulants to people for 40 plus years.
That's
and
true.
That they do help people. So essentially that study would show them that stimulants don't actually help, is what you're saying, which would be a very big discovery.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they have done these types of tests with ADHDers on stimulants versus not.
Well, hopefully so.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
Yeah. But I'm going to assume if they're at this point where they're testing non-ADHDers. So it says, in essence, people using these drugs may be more motivated to put in effort, but they're also less efficient.
Interesting.
So you're actually seeing a decline in their task performance. Another problem with taking these drugs in the absence of a clinical diagnosis is that they're meant to normalize levels of dopamine in people who have a deficit in this neurotransmitter, he said. However, if a system is already normal or optimal, overloading the system by adding more dopamine does not necessarily help and may actually cause harm, he added. And I can kind of relate to this. There have been a few times in my life where my stimulant dosage has been too high. And that's how I feel. I feel like the neurotypicals on any stimulant medication, where I feel really anxious and really jittery, but I'm not actually being productive because I can't really streamline my thinking. I'm just buzzing all over the place. So I can totally see whether it's an ADHDer who's on too high of a dose or a non-ADHDer who's on any dose. You're overloading that dopamine system, and it's not a forever correlation of more equals better. You're going to hit a point where it's actually negatively affecting you. And that's kind of another thing when which I get, people are nervous about starting stimulants because there's so much fear mongering around, you'll get addicted, you're blah, blah, blah. First of all, you can't get addicted to a medication you need. It's like getting addicted to your heart medication. I guess you're addicted in the sense that your body relies on it.
Lisinopril.
I'm addicted to my asthma meds.
Yeah.
You can't go a day without them. I need my fix. It's or you're medicating something
I did yell at a medical student once who told me use the word addicted in contacts with people with ADHD on stimulants.
It's so annoying.
Just lost it. It was a Friday afternoon, so
He was asking for it.
Yeah, you don't come at me with something like that on a Friday.
But it's so harmful too. Like for years, I thought I was like an addict. I thought I had a problem because I was taking these stimulant medications, and I was like, I don't really need these. I need to get off them. Like for years, literally years, I've had so much shame that I just carried in my body because I was like, I'm addicted. I need this stuff to function.
And I remember being taught in PA school, like people will develop a tolerance to these medications, and so you need to have them go off it for like once a weekend or something.
Yeah, they
like
would talk
that.
about taking a medication vacation.
So you don't develop a
your
tolerance,
weekends.
and you're like, well, maybe they're just not on the right dose.
Yeah, and usually once you hit that dose, you're not going to keep going up and up. Like I've been on stimulants for 10 years now. I'm on 30 milligrams of generic Vyvanse right now. Like I started at 20. Now I'm at 30. So
what's the highest?
I think the highest is like
70?
80. I think it's 80.
Whatever Christopher's on.
Yeah. I think it's
Which
80.
he needs.
Yeah. Yes. Oh,
Don't take that away from him.
Yes. And like the whole you'll get addiction or you'll get addicted or you'll need more and more and more is like it does hit a point where if you have ADHD, you're not going to always be seeking because it feels really bad if your levels are too high. If it's too high, you're going to feel jittery. You're not going to feel efficient. Like it makes you feel really sick, which I imagine neurotypicals also probably feel this like dopamine sickness almost, you know? So obviously that language is problematic because it's not an addiction. It's a medication you need. But also if you're like worried about starting stimulants, you're worried about being addicted or you're worrying about like you're going to keep wanting more and more and more. From my personal experience and from what all the studies say, that's not actually true. You just need to get up to the point where you're being properly medicated and maybe you'll need to go up 10 milligrams within a few years. But like, okay, that's true for anxiety meds. That's true for depression meds, you know? Like,
and maybe it'll go down, you know, if you have like better, I think with like depression, you know, they always say like therapy is the best bet, but the medications will help you kind of get over that hump. And, And so you can adjust, you know, if you're in like a good point of your life and you're going to therapy and you're really working on yourself or, you know, you have the supports you need, maybe you don't need as high as a dose. But if you don't have, you know, if it's just kind of a rough time in your life, like maybe you have a loss in the family or you just like financial hardships or just hardships in general, you might need to just go up because of these circumstances that you have no control over.
And that's okay.
And
just
that's
like any
okay.
medication.
No one's going to say, oh, they're getting addicted to their Prozac.
Yeah.
They're addicted to Lexapro. Could you imagine if people took Lexapro as a party drug?
Yeah, right? Wow, I'm feeling so chill right now.
I'm just going to sit down for a little bit.
Or if your doctor was like, don't take your Lexapro every weekend. You don't need it.
You don't need Lexapro on the weekends. That's not how it works. It builds up in your system.
And that ties in, like now doctors are saying you actually shouldn't take a weekend vacation from your meds. So like unless you feel like
because you'll go through like dopamine withdrawals, right? Yeah, that's crazy.
I was out of my meds last weekend. I felt so sick. I felt like really overheated. I felt nauseous. I felt so drained of energy. Like it just made me feel really bad. And like, you know, thanks capitalism, but we actually have stuff we also want to get done on the weekends. Like don't just take your meds to get your work done and then neglect your home life. Like take your meds to get your home life together too. You need it. Your dopamine levels are too low.
Right. Especially because we're all living in, no, I shouldn't say it.
Late stage capitalism.
Basically, capitalism, where you can't, like, you're either by yourself or maybe you're in a 2-income household, but there's, you know, rarely do people have like one person at home, like manning the home front and then to get all the home stuff done and then as like a partnership and then another one going to work and doing work stuff.
Yeah.
That's rare, I think, especially in America where no one can afford to do that.
Yeah. There's no shame.
Or you're fucked because you're like a single parent and you have to.
I can't even imagine.
I can't imagine.
Jesus.
That sucks.
Yeah. There's no shame in taking your stimulants on the weekends. And furthermore, doctors say actually you should just consistently take your medication because it's a fucking medication.
It's a medication.
So don't like take.
People aren't.
Don't feel like you have to take Saturday off and you feel shame if you don't.
Your blood pressure medication on the weekend.
You don't need
because
it on
you're
the
not
weekends.
at work.
Yeah.
Your blood pressure's lower at home.
Just sit on the couch all weekend. Don't move around.
Don't move around and you'll be fine.
Yeah. I was just about to say, I can see the one problem with ADHDers and stimulants of like increasing too much. The only time I could see that becoming like, obviously anyone can become addicted to anything.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say people haven't developed an addiction to stimulants, but that would be like either you don't have ADHD and you're hooked on them, or you do have ADHD, but you're kind of dopamine seeking and you're trying to go up higher and higher and higher because maybe you don't know about executive functioning and you're expecting, like they say, pills don't teach skills. But if you don't know about ADHD, you might think, I'm on 50 milligrams. I still can't get stuff done. I should go to 60. I should go to 70.
Right.
When really, it's not that you need more stimulants. It's that you need more structure in your life. And that wouldn't be a stimulant thing. That would be a structure thing.
Yeah. Comparable to depression, you can take Lexapro, you can take Wellbutrin and all these things. But if you don't deal with like the traumas and the things that are making you depressed.
Yeah. If you're like laying in bed in the dark all day.
You're going to want and need more and more in a higher dose because nothing's working, but you probably need therapy.
Yeah. And like behavioral changes.
Behavioral changes, cognitive changes, life changes. You need to talk it out. If you're dealing with some sort of like loss or grief or trauma, you probably need to chat about it.
Or somatic therapy, get it out of your body.
Right. Same. You need to do something.
Yep.
You can't just take a pill. And I'm not saying don't take pills because I'm pro pill.
Same.
I'm in medicine. That's
go pills.
Yeah, pills.
Yeah.
You need the pills, but you also need skills.
Yeah.
So it's the same with depression. It's the same with anxiety. Pills kind of help you get to a point, but they can only help so much.
Yeah.
And if you don't have them skills, then you're still fucked.
Yeah, you'll be organizing your jar cupboard for 12 hours,
Exactly.
So, yeah. And that happens to me sometimes anyways with stimulants, even if it's on the right dose. If I get going on a side quest because I'm avoiding my main quest, I'll do that quest all day. And I'll get a lot done, but it's not what I need to get done.
I do that all the time. I love a good side quest.
Same.
I'm my most productive when I'm avoiding something.
Same. I've gotten a lot done recently.
I almost need something to avoid so I can be productive.
Same.
Yeah.
Another business. Make up fake assignments.
That
like you
fill
avoid.
out a form. I'll do anything not to,
Same.
to do
Make
that.
a phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll clean the basement out instead of make that phone call.
Yeah.
I'll organize Ian's
Paint
desk.
the trim. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
So just a couple last bits and then I'll wrap this section up. But this article just went on to say that methylphenidate, for example, can cause nervousness, irritability, difficulty falling or staying asleep, and other side effects. And these side effects may make it more difficult to carry out cognitive tasks efficiently. So yet again, if you're a neurotypical and you're on ADHD meds, you're not going to be sleeping well because you don't need these meds. They're going to keep you up too late. Then you'll be tired.
Right.
And then you'll feel the effects of just being tired, And it says, while the new study found that cognitive enhancers may not work for people without ADHD, Bowman said the results don't raise any concern about their use in people with that condition. These medications have been a safe and effective part of ADHD treatment for many years. So I just wanted to include that.
I don't like how they're called cognitive enhancers.
Yeah, it's more like
they're not increasing your IQ.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I don't like the fact that they labeled this cognitive enhancers.
Yeah, because it still feels like it has
the connotation is off. I know what they're trying to say, but they're not increasing. They're not making you more smart. They're a medication that is needed for a certain population.
Yeah, it's like balancing out your chemical levels.
Right.
Yeah. It is allowing you to access, I guess, different parts of your cognitive abilities.
It's just like it's similar to if you have high blood pressure, you take a high blood pressure pill. But if your blood pressure is normal, you don't want to take a blood pressure pill to get your blood pressure even lower, because then there are side effects like your blood pressure's too low.
Yeah.
And now, you're on the floor, Now
you're dead. Look at that.
So it's very similar. I just think that there's such a connotation around these medications that really make it difficult for the people who need it the most.
I agree.
And it sucks. But I think I'm excited that they studied this. This is an important thing to study.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the more we get to this point where we're saying, like, it's not just that if you don't have ADHD, you shouldn't take these because, other people need them more. It's like, no, it's not even just that. It's that it's harming you.
Yeah. And that's the cognitive thing. But also with every medication, there's side effects about a lot of cardiac side effects. And what if you have some sort of undiagnosed cardiac condition that you didn't know about? Now you're taking these stimulant medications that can make that worse. You don't want to take these medications if you don't need them, you know?
Yeah.
So
And it's also making you less efficient. Like, you're already naturally getting done what we need a medication to be able to get done.
Yeah.
So, like, just enjoy the fact that you have regular dopamine levels. Don't take pills if you don't need them because it's just harming you.
Right.
Yeah. And we're just taking them to get on your level. So, like, be proud of the fact that you're already naturally at that level. And isn't that nice, you know?
That is nice.
You wake up feeling the way I do after 30 milligrams of Vyvanse, and that's nice. Yeah. All right. Well, we could rant about stimulant medications all day, but we've got to get moving because it's time for alternative segments. Alternative segments. Quite the long pause. All right, on this week's alternative segments, we're doing things that are embarrassing for no reason. I came up with this segment based on a text from Kylie that she sent me, and I told her I'm going to use that for a segment idea.
Kylie
Lowe from Dark Down East.
She's a good friend of ours.
Yes, but she's my friend first and foremost. I don't always need to promote her podcast.
Well,
she's just my friend Kylie sometimes.
Okay, your friend Kylie.
Yes, she's just my friend. But she also has a big podcast. She texted me the other day, well, a while ago now, because it was in the summer. She said, "Why is going to an ice cream shop so embarrassing?" I said, "It really is. Also, can I use that text for a segment?" Because I just cackled out loud. She said, "Of course, Grace, you know how these things flatter me." But then she said, "All I can think about is a soft serve cone with sprinkles, but go by myself to order one from a 16-year-old and wait in line," which we decided feels embarrassing for no reason. I think part of it is also like lots of people go in groups to get ice cream.
Right.
And if you're there by yourself.
Or with like a kid.
Yeah.
It's like seen as kind of childish.
Yeah. So if you're just like a 34-year-old woman waiting.
Sometimes you just need some ice cream.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think the concept in itself is embarrassing. Just like the physical act does feel very embarrassing for no reason, you know? It's not embarrassing.
I don't think I've ever gotten ice cream by
treat.
myself.
You haven't?
No.
I think I have.
I've always gone with someone.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really do it by myself because it feels embarrassing. It's like, oh, you adult, you need like a special little treat.
Yeah.
You need it that badly. You got to go by yourself.
When I lived in Washington State, I lived down the street from a froyo shop with all like, it was like a 16 handle. I think it was Pinkberry or something. Oh. And they have all the handles and you can try. So my parents would come and visit and I sent them an itinerary. We had things to do every day. We hiked a volcano. We went to wineries. We went on a food tour in downtown Portland. We did all these like cool things. Their favorite part was the fucking froyo stop that was down the street. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
So cultured.
They're like, oh, we just love the froyo. I'm like, Mom, you can get froyo where you live too.
Well, to be fair, we don't really have many of those in Maine.
Yeah,
it's a very like Boston and below. Boston, I couldn't find soft serve anywhere. I know we've ranted about this on the podcast before.
There's no soft serve ice cream.
I live down the street.
Froyo.
Yes, I live down the street from a 16 handles. I was like, fine, I guess. The toppings like almost make up for it, but not quite. You know?
I'm not a big toppings person.
What? Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't like crunch in your ice cream.
I don't like the crunch in there.
I do.
You know what I do? I do toppings on the side, and then I would just eat the toppings.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That upsets me.
I don't want the crunch.
I like the crunch. I like something to do in my ice cream, you know? I don't want just the same consistency. Like, give me a task. Give me
You know what really drives me nuts? People who put gummy bears on their ice.
I'm nuts for nuts. Yeah, because they get frozen and really hard.
And then they lose their gumminess.
I agree.
Who does that?
Yeah. But then also there's something to do. Because now they're frozen and it takes you longer to chew.
Yeah, but now you're like chewing on
to do.
What? But then your froyo's melting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a race against the clock.
Yeah. I will say sometimes I do gummy bears purely because I just like the texture of like chewing a frozen gummy bear. I think it's kind of fun.
Ugh.
We have
thank you.
Very different opinions on froyo.
Yeah.
Once again, you're Buzz and I'm Neil. And so
this is
we could share an ice cream and it would work out perfectly probably, right? Like I'll take all the gummy bears.
I will take all the
toppings
ice
on the
cream.
side. Yeah. But back to my conversation about waiting for ice cream and how shameful it is.
Mm-hmm.
I said that it feels very childish and there are too many decisions to make on the spot and that sometimes a longer line is nice. It's more embarrassing because you got a longer line to wait in. Yeah. Then you got more time
to think about it. Or if you go up and you're like, can I get cookie dough? And they're like, we're out. And you're like,
oh my God, that's
no.
devastating. Like, I guess I'll just go home.
Yeah, I guess I'll just die.
That's worse. That's like the worst. The panic decision.
I made this decision. I don't have a backup. I was really betting on cookie dough.
Yep. All that for nothing.
Nothing.
And then she said, but if there's no line and you stand there while they're looking at you through their little fucking window, that's also embarrassing.
You're like, I'm sorry, I don't know yet. You have a bajillion different options.
Yes. Once again, it feels childish.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, at Libs, which is a local ice cream place, they close the window between orders. And if you need more napkins, they have to slide it open again. All in all, humiliating. And that is also very embarrassing, having to like ask a teenager for a napkin because you're messy. You got a wet little
more
front.
than just one of your like tissue thin napkins.
Yes.
Yeah.
They give you one little tiny napkin.
Like my sweat is like dissolving it in my hands, you know, because I'm sweating as I'm ordering.
I know. And I always want to get the dip where they do like the hard dip on top, but then the ice cream underneath melts and then it's dripping all down your hands. But I get it every time and I always regret it. Kylie said, one cool thing about having a kid is you always have baby wipes, something to think about. Oh, might be worth it to have a baby.
Doubt it, but I'm glad she's finding a silver lining.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was just texting me. She was texting me about just the premise of how embarrassing it is.
Mm-hmm.
Then she actually went to get ice cream.
Yeah.
All her worst fears came true.
Oh, no.
Which is always how it happens. You're like, no, I'm being silly.
Yeah. It's not as dramatic as I'm making it.
It is.
Then it is. Yes.
She said, the worst thing just happened to me at the ice cream shop. I approached a closed window alone, and the teen gave me a 1 second through the glass.
Oh, no.
And now I'm just standing there. While the door is closed and the teens are in there. That's so embarrassing. She said they didn't have any soft serve. What? And ran out of whipped cream, so I couldn't get my soft serve with sprinkles or hot fudge sundae, so I panic ordered boring chocolate chip cookie dough. Like an idiot!
First of all, there's nothing wrong with chocolate chip cookie dough. That's a great decision.
Yeah, but if you wanted either soft serve or a hot fudge sundae,
yeah, that sucks.
Chocolate chip cookie dough isn't going to do it.
Yeah. Ugh.
So
I'm so sorry.
I know, right?
This is devastating.
The 1 minute through the glass is like, feels like a child being scolded.
Yeah.
And that just...
And you're like, I'm sorry.
It's like when your anxieties are confirmed. It's like, this is why I don't go to the ice cream shop. Something bad always happens. So then I was kind of thinking about what are other things that are embarrassing for literally no reason at all. A couple of mine, getting a haircut. Feels very embarrassing. You got that stupid little cape around your neck. You look so ugly.
I've never looked uglier.
I'm like, my neck is so thick. Why is my neck so thick?
I'm like, I've worn turtlenecks before, and I feel like I don't look like this.
I'm like hulking out of this. It's like if I swallow, I'm going to bust all the snaps open.
And they have like the tissue paper collar.
Yes.
That I always try to like bulk my neck up because I feel like it's too tight. So when Erica, one day we'll have her on the show, every time she puts it on, I just try to like turtle my neck a little bit to give me a little extra room. But then I look at myself as I'm like turtling and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't even want to look at myself. And you're just like 3 feet away from a mirror.
I'd rather you just cut it without the mirror there.
Yes.
I'll look at it when I get home.
Yes. Hide my face.
Yeah.
I don't need to see. I trust you.
Yeah.
I believe you.
You're here to cut my hair. I don't do this.
Yeah. You know better than I do.
Right? You just do what you think needs to be done.
Yeah. And I'm just along for the ride.
I hate that. I hate it.
I hate it. It's so embarrassing.
Yes.
And my other one is getting hurt in public.
Oh my God.
There's nothing more embarrassing.
And
you're like crying or you're screaming.
Yeah. And you're like, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm not fine.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's something I should take to a therapist because it's like, it shouldn't be embarrassing. You're hurt, but like, it's embarrassing.
Yeah. No, it's embarrassing.
Right?
It's like,
especially because it's usually you did something stupid.
Right.
Where you like tripped over something that
and
you shouldn't have
get like
tripped over.
Scraped. It's like, if you like break your femur, that hurts.
Yes.
And you should be screaming.
Yes. But then you're screaming in public.
Well,
isn't that embarrassing?
If you break, it's the biggest bone in your body. If you break your femur, you should be screaming. And if you're not screaming, I'm more concerned.
Yeah, something's wrong with
you. That hurts.
Yeah.
Right? You should not be embarrassed. People should scream if they break bones.
But it is embarrassing. It's on my list.
If you get like a scrape that's like just painful enough to like bring tears to your eyes and you're like, no, I'm struggling.
Or you like fall down and like break something or like there's a big noise or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not hurt enough to scream, but you are hurt or people are like checking on you.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm fine. Huh. I just want to like
If
die.
you got the wind knocked out of you.
Oh my God.
That's the worst.
That's the worst.
The worst.
God, I don't remember the last time I got the wind knocked out of me. Probably on the Longfellow playground, jumping for those
Your
rings.
dog.
Oh.
Not Lucy. Ellie.
She hit you?
I like tripped over her leash once and I went back and I just, I'm like,
yeah, it's embarrassing.
It's
Getting
so
the wind knocked
embarrassing.
out of you.
Yeah. And you're like, I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Or having an asthma attack in like a soccer game. That was always really embarrassing. It's very public.
Yeah.
You know, I think I've said this before, but I had an asthma attack in the middle of the pool during a swim meet race, doing the backstroke.
That's good.
An asthma attack in the middle of the pool.
Good place for that to happen.
So embarrassing. And I went and cried in the locker room and I quit the swim team. And she never swam again. I choose not to swim.
She hasn't swam to this day. She actually has never been submerged in a body of water.
Won't even take a bath. No, actually, I dog sat for Kylie the other night, and she has a beautiful bathtub that she said no one ever uses, and I took a bath.
Oh, you took a tubby?
Yeah, I took her bath
Christopher
bomb.
style.
Yeah, I never take a tubby because ours is like a shower tub combo, and that grosses me out. I'm not bathing in a place where we stand. Ew.
You got to do the shower bath shower.
No, but I don't even want. I'm saying I don't like when it's a tub and a shower combined. It's got to be tub is just for the tub. We only use this for baths. I don't
really?
Yes, I don't like when it's a bath shower.
I love a tub shower.
I don't want to be laying in a place where I'm normally standing. It feels dirty. It
Well,
feels like I'm laying on the floor. You know,
that's why you got to get that. One, I am not a bath person, and I never will be. But if I had to take a bath, I want it in a tub shower, in a clean tub, like tub newly cleaned.
Yeah.
And I want to shower first to get all the grossness off, and then I step out. I get the bath going, get it steaming hot, and then I take the bath. And then shower after to get all the bath juices off.
Yeah, but you can do that. Like Kylie and Chris have this beautiful shower that's just a shower. And then next to it, they have this beautiful bathtub that's just a bathtub, which I like to keep them separate, you know? Take my nice shower, take my bath, take my nice shower.
I like the convenience of a tub shower because you have like enough space to move around. I feel like, I'm sure they have a big, beautiful bathroom.
Yes, they do.
My parents have that same situation, but they have like a coffin-sized shower. And you're like, great, I didn't want to wash my hair thoroughly anyway because I can't get my elbows situated.
No, the shower is big and luxurious. The bathtub is big and luxurious.
Not everybody has means for a big, beautiful shower.
Oh, I don't either.
Tubby.
But this was ideal. So I'm like, I'm taking a bath. Anyways, where are we? Oh, I want you to share your things that are embarrassing for no reason.
Going to the dentist, is my number one.
Get that stupid fucking bib on.
It's so demeaning. You have to go there like once or twice a year.
Yeah.
For someone to clean your teeth.
Yeah, like what are you, a baby?
Yeah.
You gotta brush my teeth? You gotta floss my teeth for me?
They floss and brush your teeth. I'm like, I could probably just do this. And they're like, but then you can't because they're like, you're not brushing well enough.
Yeah.
And you're not flossing at all, probably.
Yeah.
If you're like me. So basically you get in trouble.
Yep. Yeah.
And you get scolded.
Yep.
And then, God forbid, something's wrong with your teeth. Like last time I went to the dentist, they said I had deep crevices in my molars.
Oh, uh-oh.
And I said, well, I guess just like, fuck me. I got deep crevices. What does that mean?
Do they fill them?
They put like plastic goo in them to make them less deep. And it was like one of those things where you're like, I didn't know I could be self-conscious about my molars.
Yeah.
And now I am.
Like deep crevices.
Yeah. And so now when I go to the dentist, which hasn't been in a very long time because I'm traumatized.
Same. And a lot of ADHDers run into that problem where they put it off because they're worried they'll be shamed, like the ice cream stand. And then they go
fucking shameful.
And they are shamed.
Yeah. And this dentist, it was like a lovely office, but they had like all the advanced technology. And it was just... It was much different than the one I grew up with, which was like just like a little factory and you weren't in there for very long. And this one, they like took their time and they like documented appropriately and they would count all the sides of your teeth. So they would spend like 20 minutes shouting numbers being like interior of tooth, 24, 145. And I'm like, what do these numbers mean? And I'm sure someone could tell me, but I don't want them to.
No.
Because
it's way too thorough.
It's so thorough. And then they're like, well, you have very deep crevices. And I was like, great. I just want to die.
Get me out of here.
Just want to die. They're like, we're going to have to do something about these crevices because they're so deep they can lead to cavities. And I'm like, I just didn't know this was a problem.
Yeah, why has no one said anything to you before?
Well, yeah. So now they're talking about my crevices. And then they're like, you have to wear the bib. You have to stare at the ceiling.
They put those stupid fucking sunglasses on you. They're always like cool guy sunglasses.
The hygienist, like, God bless them, but they're like asking you questions. But I'm like, I can't answer because you're in my mouth.
Yes.
You literally have people like crawling in your mouth.
I don't know the social rules of the sucky.
What do I do with my tongue?
Yeah. Where do you put your tongue?
Where do I put my tongue?
What's the social rules of the
Mr. Slurpee? Yeah, I don't know.
Do you close your mouth? Do you slurp on it? Or do you leave it open and let them suction out?
And they usually
never know.
Yeah, they usually go close. And then I close, and then they're like trying to yank it back. They're like, open, and I'm like,
give me that.
You have to tell me these things. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it's just there's so many rules. Traumatizing.
I agree. When I lived out in Oregon, my friend Abby and I went to the same dentist, and he was like a hot Mormon man, and they had the ugliest sunglasses, like stupid cool guy sunglasses that they would put on you, and we were just so embarrassed to have to wear our glasses in front of our hot doctor.
I just don't want them to count my teeth. And
Anything but counting my teeth.
Don't count my teeth, and don't make fun of my crevices. I'm sorry.
Yeah, keep it to yourself.
It's like these things. You're just like, man, I just feel like I can't win at the dentist, and they're like, we got to do something about this. And I'm like, what if I don't? Like, I feel like it's never been an issue until you brought it up, you know?
Just wait for it to become a cavity, because if you're going to have to do something anyways, just let it become a cavity first, you know?
Anyway, and then my other one is being on the phone in public, which might be just a me thing, but I don't want people hearing my conversations.
Yeah, I also feel embarrassed. I feel like everyone's, because I feel like it's so rude.
I feel like it's generally rude in most places. Like, I think sometimes you have to be on the, if you're like walking down the street.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would like call my mom or something if I'm like walking home from school. I don't know, but like on the train or like even at work, like if I get like a personal phone call, I'm like, oh my God. I have to leave. I like trap myself in the unused exam room so I can like have a conversation with like my vet.
Yeah.
Like, your cats are due for their annual. And I'm like,
you're like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing.
Never call me at work again.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that one. I don't think it's embarrassing because I'm like embarrassed about what I'm saying. I just think it's rude. And so I don't like to be rude. And I get really annoyed when people are like loudly talking into their phones in stores. It's like, regulate your volume, you know?
Yes. Or people who have on speaker.
Oh my God. What is wrong with you?
Do you have no shame?
Seriously, I think that is like the craziest thing.
Or people who listen to like TikTok or Reels on loud. Like, get headphones.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Only they had some kind of invention where only you would have to hear the sound.
So I don't have to listen to this.
Yes. It doesn't make any sense. But at least with like, even with watching TikToks, you kind of don't have any choice but to play it out loud. On the phone, you have the option to not have it on speaker. Put it up to your fucking ear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I know. Or just silence your phone on TikTok because everybody has subtitles anyway.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Read those subtitles.
Right.
Come on.
Crazy.
All right. Well, now that we have shared the deepest, darkest parts of our souls and let you know exactly what we're embarrassed by, we are all done with alternative segments. Wow. Something's wrong with the record player.
Wow.
It's heating up.
What do we get for timeage?
We're pretty far in.
Yeah. I don't know if we should.
An hour 20.
Oof.
We can cruise. We should do it. We cut out Pizza Secrets last time. We should cruise through them.
Cruise through some Pizza Secrets. Yep. Yeah, mine's short and sweet.
We never even finished our alternative. Damn it! Oh, perk up your ears. I hear something coming towards us at a medium pace. Yeah, it's speeding up now. It sounds like horse hooves upon the tracks, but also there's a train choo-chooing at the same time. Look, what is that? A train riding atop a horse's back? What are the physics of this? How could that have possibly happened? Well, no matter. That horse looks mighty hungry from all that work. Good thing they're ready to stop at the old pizza shop because it's time for Pizza Secrets. Let's do that song.
Yeah.
Pizza Secrets, tell me your secrets. Pizza Secrets. Oh, yeah.
Pizza Secrets.
All right. Well, we've spent way too long in this episode per use. But we didn't want to leave you hanging. We got a couple short and sweet Pizza Secrets that we're going to fly through.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is called The Neighbor's Gloves.
Okay.
So Ian and I moved into this house over 2 years ago. Yeah. 2 years and a few months. And when we first moved in, our lovely, wonderful neighbor, Christine, came over and brought us like a little welcome to the neighborhood gift, which is funny because I've grew up in this neighborhood.
Yeah,
but
welcome back.
Yeah, I'm back in the neighborhood. But she gave us, like a few little treats. She gave us a bag of Portland trash bags, which was really sweet.
Oh,
So you
that
have to
is
buy
really
like the special
sweet.
trash bags.
That's very cute.
But I feel bad even telling this secret because it's so shitty of me, and she might listen to this podcast. She said she checked it out. So Christine, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry. When she was here, I think she must have taken her really nice gloves off. They're like these beautiful like tan gloves. They look very nice and expensive. She took them off and she must have forgotten them here while she was here. I think they like fell down behind something. So I didn't see them right away. But then I came across them a few weeks later. I'm like, I think these are Christine's gloves. We should really bring them back to her. And then we just didn't. And now it's been 2 years.
What
it's
do you
literally
do?
I don't know.
You could either
the longer I waited, the more awkward it got. Now I'm not going to be like
2 years in. You're like, you left these 2 years ago.
I've known about them almost the whole time.
You either say I've known about them, or what do you go? Oh, we just found them.
Yeah.
2 years later.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I was going to do. I was going to say I just found them. But like, where have they been?
They were hidden behind a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
And now if she listens to this podcast, she knows I'm lying. Because they have been sitting on our little bench by the door every single time I leave the house. I think I should really bring these back to Christine every day. Every single day I leave the house.
No.
I feel so much shame looking at these goddamn gloves that I still haven't brought back.
You know what you can do?
Anonymous drop.
Just put them in her mailbox.
Yeah.
Anonymous drop. You know for sure that they're hers.
I know they're hers.
I've
known the whole time
in
they're
the
hers.
middle, under the cover. Right.
You're right.
Go.
Yep.
Does she have a ring cam?
I don't think so. I think she's out of town right now.
Let's go.
Okay.
You have to solve this.
Okay.
Just put them in your
Just
glove
anonymous.
box. Wear a ski mask if you need to. Cover
Okay.
your identity.
That won't be sketchy at all.
Put them in the glove box and then get out of there.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
That's what I was thinking.
Solves all problems. You can even leave a note being like, I found these. Don't. Just
I'm not going to leave a note.
don't leave a
There's
note.
no explanation. Where have they been for 2 years? Where would I have found them?
I would
where
just
they're
put them in the
clean.
mailbox.
She
And
probably
then
bought new nice gloves.
it doesn't matter. And just give them back and no one has to know. And
You're
she
right.
probably is going to be like, where did these come from? But that's a mystery for her and,
And
no one else.
isn't that fun that she
Yeah,
gets to have
that's
this kind of like
yeah.
mystery to think about the rest of her
my
life?
gloves are back.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that nice that the universe found those back?
Yeah.
to
And
her.
she'll always be wondering where they came from.
Yeah.
And she'll never know.
She'll
unless
never
she
know.
listens to this episode.
Unless she listens to the episode or if she sees you on like a ring cam or something.
Yeah, you're right. It's like, why
You should wear a ski mask.
did Grace do that? You're right. All right. I
Keep
think
your identity
Yeah.
secret.
she's very lovely and nice, so I could really explain myself, but like it
Yeah.
feels like too long. Like last year,
It's long.
a year ago, I was like, okay, I think I could reasonably have the excuse that these fell behind
Mm-hmm.
something. We just found them. Then winter came and went. And I was like,
Mm.
well, now it's been 2 years. And that's way too long
Yeah.
to wait. Like
Well-
imagine knowing that your neighbor just had your stuff. They just didn't bring
just
it back.
bring back
They never
ever.
said anything.
Never.
They were never like, oh, hey, you left your gloves here. They just never said anything because they felt awkward. What is that? What's wrong with me? Every day that goes by, it gets worse and worse. It's not going to get better. It's been too long.
It's been way too long.
It's been way too long.
No, you have to secretly give them back.
Okay, that's the only way.
Yeah. You have to like Malfoy's dad secretly dropped Tom Riddle's diary
yep.
into what's her face's
Ginny's
Ginny's
bag.
bag. You got to do the same thing, but with her gloves.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I should like find her in a store, come up behind her, sneaking into
Sneak
her
'em.
gloves.
And then she'll be
Yeah.
like, they were in my bag the whole time.
oh my gosh, silly me. This must be a Christine
Yeah,
problem.
I'm having a moment.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been looking for these for years and
I
they were
need-
in my bag the
I
whole
should probably
time.
go to the doctor and seek
Yeah.
help for my memory
No,
problems.
I would just, if it were me, I'd be like, oh, silly me.
Yeah, must have overlooked these.
I thought I looked in this bag, but I guess not.
Yeah, I think mailbox is the way to go. Let's do it. Will
Okay.
Will you help me with this task
I will.
that I've waited too
Yeah,
long to do?
let's. I'm changing my pizza secret, but after this, we should deliver that back to her
Okay.
secretly.
All right, sounds good. All right, pizza secret. Pizza secret. I hate myself. All right, Kristen, what's your pizza secret?
Mine I'm calling lost and found.
Okay.
I have my main key for my car, and I have my spare.
Mm.
And sometimes Christopher takes my car to just go to the store and stuff. Especially when his car was not great. he had like this little Ford Ranger that was like on borrowed time. But now he has a new car, so it's not an issue. But he used to take my car a lot to just like go to the store and do all the things, which is fine because he's a much better driver than I am. But for the longest time, I couldn't find my spare key. And I was like, I know he's lost it, or it's like somewhere in his, because sometimes he keeps things in his pants pockets, and then it's like in his dirty laundry in his pants.
Yep.
And I'm like looking for it. And so I sent him a text because one morning I thought I lost my main key and I couldn't find the spare key. And I was like, oh, and I was almost late to work. But then I found the main key. But then I was like, well, where the frig is my spare key? I haven't seen it in a very long time. And so I sent him this text in the morning being like, yo, can you put my spare key back on the key rack when you find it? Because I think you were the last one to have it. And he wrote back, there's no way you have that key. He's like, you have it. I do not have it. He's like, I know for a fact that you were the last one to use it. And I was like,
Liar.
Yeah. Excuse me. I don't use the spare key. I use the main key. And I was like, I know you have it. So then he's like looking everywhere for the spare key. And I get to work and I look in a weird compartment in my backpack and there it is.
Nice.
And so rather than being like, hey, found it, I just didn't say anything. And I just hung it back up on the key ring. And then he gets home and he notices, he's like, hey, you found it? Where was it?
You should have hidden it in his stuff, Kristen.
I should have hidden it.
You should have put it in some random pocket.
I was just like, God damn it. You know when you were like, and I was I a little snarky? Sure, yeah.
That's the worst when you're a little snarky.
You're like,
yeah.
Because I was so sure he had it.
Yeah.
And then when I found it, like a part of me was like, oh yeah, I found it. But most of me was like, oh, fuck. It was a bitch for nothing.
Yes, I hate that.
God damn it. And then even more of a bitch because I couldn't even admit.
I know.
I couldn't even admit. I was like, he'll never know. And then he forgot about it for a while. And then he like just last night literally goes, hey.
And he knew it was you.
He knew. He goes, he just kind of brings it to me. He goes, so where'd you find this? And I'm like, he's like, was it in the bag, your bag that I told you was probably in? And I was like,
you're so stubborn.
So stubborn.
Did you apologize?
I did. And I even said that he was right.
I hate that. Sometimes it's necessary. It hurts my soul.
Hurt my soul.
You were right.
You were right.
Yeah. If I were you, I would have just
I was really hoping he would
the
just
key
like
somewhere.
Forget that we had that whole conversation and that
he's not that ADHD.
No, I was really hoping his ADHD would work in my favor, but it didn't.
Damn. Yeah, you should have
He's
put
got
it
that
in like
damn clipboard memory.
I know. You can never predict what he's going to remember.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I was like, he'll definitely forget this conversation, but he didn't. So.
He's like, I remember vividly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can recite the text word by word. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, I would have snuck it into his shoe or something.
That's what I should have done.
Whoa. Weird. You're so irresponsible.
I knew you had that.
Yeah, I was right.
I just knew I was being a brat, but I felt it was so justified and it wasn't.
That's
and
the worst.
I feel bad and I'm sorry.
It's a secret. That's a good one. We're both really good people. We're really good at keeping track of stuff.
Yep.
And we don't
it's totally
have
fine.
any issues at all.
No.
It's the other people.
Yes. It's everybody else.
Yeah.
It's not us.
No.
But yeah, that's our show.
Yeah.
If you liked this horse train and want to keep it going, you can give us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can give us, I think we're currently accepting 5 stars only.
Let me check the notes. 3 stars, 4 stars. No, 5 stars this time. Yeah.
Okay.
Just 5
so
stars.
currently only accepting 5 stars. So be sure to give us a little 5-star review.
Yeah.
You can find us on Instagram at Weirds of Feather. You can find us on our Facebook group. You can DM us. We are also on TikTok. We have a Patreon now.
Yeah.
Woo!
Patreon.com/weirdsofafeather.
Yeah, so we have our Patreon going where we have a couple episodes of NDTV. We also have our Peter the Dolphin episode that we had to take down off our regular feed because it was
too scandalous.
Inappropriate.
Yeah.
A little too scandalous, sure. Yeah, I agree.
I guess.
Yes.
The sponsors definetally agreed. So
yes. So
took their ads off our
podcast. Christopher and I are working on a spookier Patreon content, and hopefully that gets up there soon.
Yeah.
And we've got more episodes of NDTV coming up, right?
Yep, on the way. So you can become a member for $5 and up. You'll get that additional exclusive content. So come check us
Woo!
out. You can also visit our website at weedsoffeather.com. Check out our merch. And that's it. We got to get the hell out of here.
And then are we still doing coffees?
Yeah, if you want,
yeah.
ko-fi.com/weeds-of-feather. You can buy us a coffee, which is just like donating a few bucks to the podcast.
Yeah, you can respond to our polls, and you can like all of our stuff on Instagram too, if
you please.
If you please,
Yeah.
and we would please as well.
Yeah, we would all please.
Yeah.
All right, and that's it.
Arr!
Arr! Woo!